welcome to Low Carb Cafe. I'm Kelly. Today's recipe is going to be for low carb frosted pumpkin bars. And it's a recipe that I got from Bisquick. And there is one ingredient that it's not something you can typically get at the grocery store, so you're going to have to pre-order it, probably online. And again, I'll give website addresses. It's called Carb Quick, and it is the low carb equivalent to Bisquick. So you can use it in biscuits, pancakes. I mean, it's just amazing. So you will have to pre-order the Carb Quick in order to make these, but they're really easy to order. They get here in no time, and you can order like 5-pound bags, so you have tons of it on hand. So for today's recipe, here is what we're going to need. Okay, for the first part of today's recipe, which will be the actual pumpkin bar, you will need 1 cup of the Carb Quick, 1 cup of granulated Splenda, 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 eggs beaten, and 1/2 of a can of pumpkin. Not the pumpkin pie mix, but the actual pumpkin. It's like 7.5 ounces. And that's what you're going to need for the first part. I'll go over the frosting when we're ready to do that. We're just going to basically add our ingredients. Watch out for the Splenda, it'll cause a sweet cloud. Pumpkin. The eggs. Baking soda. Cinnamon. And your vegetable oil. Now this calls for an electric mixer. Unfortunately, the only electric mixer we have is huge and bulk, and I don't have the energy to bring it out. So we're going to use this old-fashioned mixer. But luckily for you, I'm not going to keep filming while I do this. So we're just going to cut away while I mix the rest of these ingredients. Alright, now 350, and you're going to want to put it in there. And like I said, we have modified this recipe quite a bit. So we're unsure. I'm thinking you're going to put it in there for 15 to 20 minutes. So we're going to time it for 15, and we'll let you know when we come back how long we actually timed it for. And then we'll start on the frosting. So now that the pumpkin bars are done, we need to work on our frosting. So here's what you're going to need for the frosting. You will need 1.5 ounces, so 1.5 ounces of cream cheese softened, 3 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 cup of, it calls for powdered sugar, so I said powdered Splenda, but I don't have that, so I'm just using granular. 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/2 tablespoon of cream. So we're going to basically do the same thing we did with the pumpkin mixture and just mix them all up with this insanely old-fashioned mixer until they resemble a frosting. Like I said, this is an experiment, and I added maybe a tablespoon of water to this because it was just sticking in the all the way up to here in the mixers, and all of a sudden it started to level out. So I would say with your tablespoon of cream you should add also a tablespoon of water. And then it makes a little frosting. End result was in the oven for 21 minutes. And what you're going to want to do is let it cool. And what it suggests is to cool for 2 hours before you frost it. We're actually going to put ours in the fridge and see how cool we can get it because I'd like to wrap this up tonight. Alright, well, what happened was we used a metal container, and I think you might need to use a glass pan because we had a lot of trouble getting it out all together. And as my fingernail, that once was, can attest, it didn't come out that easily. We've kind of camouflaged it here. We got it in parts. So I would suggest using a glass pan that way you can see it when you flip it over and try and get it out onto the cutting board, what's going to come out and what's not going to, and that way you can kind of fix it. But from here on in, we are frosting our bars. And like I said from the beginning, this is not something I've done before, so the whole thing was very experimental. And there he goes again. Can't contain himself. The frosting's not going to be very thick. It's just going to kind of cover. We're going to just take a pizza cutter and cut it hopefully evenly. Oops, we left a little bit right there. That's where it came back off. Frosting sweet. Sorry, that one is going to be off. They may not be perfectly even, but in the end, it is going to be a low-carb pumpkin bar that you can bring to Thanksgiving. And I believe this would be 3.3 net carbs per this bar. I know it's good. And the cameraman, my husband, Ken. Oh! Wait, the dog will tell you. Oh, the little dog says he's left out. So, the entire family approves.
Well.
Wait, okay. Okay, now it's official. The entire family approves of these low-carb frosted pumpkin bars. 3.3 carbs per bar. Thanks for watching Low Carb Cafe. And I'll see you next time.